India has been struggling with the coronavirus pandemic. There is till date no drug and there is no vaccine. There are some vaccines candidates in the world. Now, from India, we have a very promising candidate from the stable of Bharat Biotech, a company well known for making vaccines for India and the world. I have with me Dr. Krishna Ella, the chairman cum managing director of Bharat Biotech Limited, a man with a very large heart. He says that they have a new candidate vaccine, a vaccine against corona, for which the Drug Controller General of India has just given permission for human trials. Dr. Ella, tell me what this vaccine is and what were its origins.
I think I just want to say that we are working in three different vaccines, corona vaccine. And one is with ICMR, another one Thomas Jefferson, third is University of Wisconsin Madison. So three different vaccines. I don't want people to get confused about that. So we are working what we are now announced the clinical permission from the DCGI is inactivated, live inactivated vaccine in public partnership with ICMR and National Institute of Virology, Pune. So that's a vaccine we announced. As a brand name is called Covaxin.
And this Covaxin, you said it's a live attenuated vaccine, meaning it is the virus is killed in this. So where did you get the virus from?
We got the virus from National Institute of Virology, Pune. It's a well characterized virus from them, and they're really very helpful. And we got the strain transported to Bharat Biotech. So most important to work in this sort of virus, you need a BSL-3 containment production facility. BSL-3 labs are there all over the world, including India. A lot of BSL-3 labs. But BSL-3 production facility for human vaccines, I think we are the first one in the world. So even other countries, even including US, doesn't have BSL-3 containment production facility yet in US. Even China doesn't have BSL-3 containment. Probably we are the first one in the world to have that facility in Hyderabad.
Well, I have walked inside your facilities and I have seen how world class your facilities are, which is why I think 1.3 billion Indians are very excited by this news of the Covaxin candidate. Now, you said you got the virus from the National Institute of Virology. Subsequently, what was the work done? Who did it? And and more importantly, what were the preclinical studies and what was the safety of that?
I think we got the strain from NIV Pune, and after that, we transported, we adapted to cell culture. To Vero cell culture is one of the cell culture we use it for production purpose, and we adapt them to grow. It slowly grows, but we make them to keep on growing, and then you produce a virus from that live virus. So you have 200 liters of live virus in the facility. 200, 300 liters of live virus. And then you kill them with a chemical so that your RNA inside the virus is destroyed. So that this virus will not be able to multiply in the body. So the difference between a live vaccine and the vaccine is you are knocking off the RNA from the, that's we call inactivation. So once inactivated, then we take it to the animal, we make a GMP manufacturing facility, produce the product, and do the toxicology studies. So we have done the toxicology almost 3 months in a three animal model according to Schedule Y, rat, mice, and rabbit, all three animals. We are 98% of the animal toxicology completed. We submitted to all of them. Some more 2% of data is still there. That will be keep going to the regulatory. But that is not relevant to the safety aspect. The 100% safety is well established in the animals very well.
Uh, any hope of going to monkeys before you come to humans, or you're going to end with rabbits and go to monkeys?
So we have done this toxicology and immunology in animal. One thing we are happy to say that NIV Pune was so cooperative. whatever the blood samples we had in animal, we used to send it to Pune, and they were also testing parallelly. And to verify what we are doing in our facility and their facility is the same, or any we call print assay. Okay, so that confirms whether this vaccine is working or not working. Okay, so that we checked it both the places, our facility and NIV Pune. Now this vaccine already been vaccinated with the hamsters and in NIV Pune, and that hamsters are going to be challenged probably in another 15 days by the NIV Pune. So we'll have challenging data also coming out.
And when do you hope to start the human trial now that you have the permission from the Drugs Controller General or the CDSO of India?
So we got a permission. Now the batch is sent today to CRI Kasoli. Once we got the approval from the CRI Kasoli, and then we ethical committee approval from the various hospitals are awaited. Some of them are approved, some of them are awaited. Once it gets and our batch is approved, then I think we'll start immediately the trial.
And where do you hope to do? Which cities, which hospitals?
We have 10 different centers in the country, from NIMS to All India Institute of Medical Science, Delhi, All India Institute of Medical Science in Patna, and PGI, Rohtak, and Orissa, Nagpur, various places, Belgaum, Chennai, all these centers. So we have more than 10 or 12 centers in all over the country.
And how many people would be recruited for this?
I'm not remembering that one. I'm sorry about that, but certainly statistically significant. So we have hired a statistician from University of Maryland in US to analyze the statistically what is right numbers. So we have done all those things properly.
And now let me ask you, where did you get the funding to do this work? Have you relied on the government of India because the PM CARES fund has some allocation for vaccine development? Vaccine making is an expensive business.
I mean, we have not taken any money from the government of India. The reason for this project, for this Covaxin project, we have not taken any money from anywhere. But definitely ICM are helping NIV for doing some serological studies and animal challenging studies. But we have not taken any money from the government. Our principles are when a society is facing suffering, I don't want to exploit the government for the sake of money and get that money for building up this thing. I don't want to do that. So we had an opportunity to use this facility for injectable polio vaccine plant. So we shut down the injectable polio vaccine. We lost the opportunity of market growth, which we would have made 200 crores or 300 crores sales from that project. We shut down the project, convert that project into COVID vaccine. So we said it's a moral responsibility for us to help the community, to help the country at large, to what can be done as an industry, as a scientist, that can be given back to the society.
Not many businessmen want to do that. Everybody wants, end of the day, return on investment.
I don't know what is return of investment for me. For me, is one thing is touched. Once I went just 3 weeks back, I went to one hotel. When they opened in Bangalore, some hotel, I went to the hotel. So he said, "Sir, Dr. Ella, I know you. Want to vaccine fast." I said, "Madam," I told him I don't have money. He said, "Sir, my monthly salary, I will give it to the company, sir. Do something, sir. I will lose my job otherwise. Please do something." I mean, you see how human beings are touched in this country at a grassroots level. It's very surprising. I think, every industry has got a moral responsibility. When the country is facing the problem, I think we have to do something for the country. And it's a moral responsibility.
So, how many people have worked on it or are working on the Covaxin?
See, we are a 1,700 people company today, but 100 people are really working truly on this project. Not only this one, we have Thomas Jefferson project also. We both the project, there are about 100 people dedicated day and night. I just want to tell you, in a BSL-3 containment, when my manufacturing people are working, so that means they're working with a live virus. So we told the decision to make by them that your family should not get exposed to you. And my last 2 to 3 months, some of the employees who are working in the facility have not seen their family. They didn't go to their house because if they go to their house, their wives or their parents may get infected. So they have not gone because they're exposed to the virus. So we ensure and we told them, and that's a commitment. I mean, see, the people, they said, sir, for us, our company is important. We need to help the community, country. So everybody stayed back and they worked in that containment facility. I think I'm really grateful to some of my colleagues who worked in the containment facility. I'm telling honestly, if anybody wants to be punished, you put them 5 minutes in the containment facility, you'll get mentally shocked because it's very tough to work in the containment facility with a lot of dresses and oxygen flowing inside your mouth.
I have personally worn a three-layered PPE suit. I went to the Fukushima radiation disaster. I know how difficult it is to survive in a three-layered PPE suit, and you're working in an even more difficult environment. Now,
Absolutely.
is there anything which the government can do for you to make sure that your vaccine can come into the market faster?
I think that's the government has to take decisions on that once we see the phase 1, 2 data, if the data is good. And I think the regulators and the government has to take a decision, not by us. So our job is to execute the project, show the results, and left to them what to do.
If all goes well, how soon can we expect the vaccine? Assuming that your phase one, two, three, all of them go well, how soon can we expect it?
It is a very difficult for us to say because this lockdown is also affecting us, transporting the people to you're going to face because we need a zero negative COVID people for testing. So we everybody has to be done RT-PCR diagnostic. So we don't want zero negative. So that material has to go to Delhi for Dange lab and get tested. Report has to come. The lot of lockdown is going to delay a little bit process for us, and I think we need help from the government whether they can facilitate these sort of things faster to move things faster. That'll help us. But otherwise, it's difficult to predict right now with so much of lockdown, other issues in the place right now. In ideal situations, it would be easy to answer, but in a complicated situation like this, very complicated to answer that question to you right now. It all depends on the data. But I can say one thing: what based on the global information that inactivated alum, the alum which we use as
Yeah.
adjuvant, it's working very well, 100% protection. So that's the publications coming out from China and other part of the world, as particular China, has clearly shown that live inactivated vaccine is easier to go. I mean, it's working very well in the humans if the data is right. So we will know from our data if that is true, then the world is gold. This is the old technology, works still good, inactivated vaccine.
Assuming you get it right, can you scale it up to give 1.3 billion people a vaccine? And I'm just talking about India. I'm very selfish, unlike many others who might want to first give it. This can be, how soon can you scale it up? What is
I
your
mean,
capacity?
the capacity is parallelly happening right now, but vaccine is a very tough field. I mean, if the vaccine is the easiest field, today we'll have 200 companies in India, or even in US. Even in US, only two, three companies. Although many R&D companies are there, real manufacturing companies are only two, Merck and Pfizer. Nobody else. There's only two companies. Even come to Europe, many R&D companies, again manufacturing companies only two, GSK and Sanofi. Nobody else. So it's a very tough field. So I think we are working parallelly on a scaling up, how to scale up properly and build on that. So we're working on that, and I think we want to help, but we do not know. But we'll get the answer probably in 2 months. How much is scaling up is possible right now, but we are working very sincerely on that.
Any idea? It's very early. What could be the cost of? Is it a single dose or two dose? How are you planning in your first trial on humans?
No, we are doing a two dose, one single dose, two dose schedule. We are doing it, and also we are doing 0 and 14 because the reason we are giving 14 today, we want is a pandemic. We want if something the first vaccine is not first dose is not really primed properly, We want to prime them with second dose 14 days so that in 30 days the person is protected 100%. So that's the strategy we are using it. And that's what the Chinese trial also clearly indicating 0 and 14 is working very well. Whether single dose will work or two dose will work, only the data, clinical data will only indicate that.
And see, the Prime Minister himself is personally monitoring the vaccine development project for India. In this vaccine, will the entire intellectual property be Indian, or is there uh, anything which will be owned by any overseas company?
This the one what Covaxin we announced today is 100% Indian one, and nobody else is a partner in this. So very clear. What there is a nothing that we can do intellectual property. Intellectual property may be more form manufacturing and formulation. We can make a file patent, but I don't think much. But it's 100% owned by us. Even Thomas Jefferson, we own the entire global rights of that. We license the entire platform technology. So whatever we develop in the future, it belongs to us.
That's very lovely to hear, because the other vaccine candidates which one is hearing all have some or the other international IP involved with it. And whenever you have international IP, there can always be a slip between the cup and the lip. So if it's an 100%, as they say, so it's an Atmanirbhar product.
Yes, absolutely, it's the same word. Even Thomas Jefferson technology also, we said the platform belongs to us. With the same platform, today we can make a Nipah vaccine, we can make MERS vaccine, and we can develop any other vaccine that is required for that. So we have total platform open for us. So there's nothing, I don't want to be controlled by IP in the future by somebody else. So that is very clear to us as a company, and also long-term view for the country's interest.
Have you had a chance to speak to the Prime Minister about Covaxin?
No, no, I never had a chance to speak to Covaxin issues with the Prime Minister. And if I get an opportunity, and I would like to discuss with him how to put simple strategies that can be much made bigger impact. And I love to waiting for, for his blessings.
And how much money would you finally require end to end to complete this project? Any estimates you've made?
Honestly, we never made a real this thing. Honestly, if you ask me, as a businessman, if I tell I shut down the plant which injectable polio vaccines would have given 300 crores business, and rabies plant I shut down for Thomas Jefferson technology. Okay, that was giving a 250 crores business. I shut down the project, shut down the vaccine, and that is now taken over by Thomas Jefferson technology. So I've lost the market opportunity. Whatever the vaccine that we have in lost revenue will be lost. It doesn't matter, but I think I can regain back after a year. So that is not an issue. But today, I think is the country is how to support the government to clear some fear in the public system. Okay, there's a vaccine, there's a hope, there's coming. At least some confidence to build in the society. And that is what Prime Minister is trying to do that. And I think we can be part of this, like a small drop in the ocean. We can be part of that to help him to see that some light in the tunnel.
Uh, Toward the end, I want to ask you, how can India help you now?
I think India is helping. That's why I'm surviving in India. I'm an entrepreneur, and thanks to India, this is a country which gave me my all earlier education. Maybe later education is in US, but earlier education, everything is given free by the country to me, and I think I have to pay back to the country. There's no question about that.
I love that, but I'm asking more for the Covaxin project. Is there something which India and Indians can do? Because you need volunteers for the trials.
I think if the volunteers are required and if some other technology, I feel even our army requires this vaccine is important. Okay, and I think today we can't afford to lose a policeman, we can't lose a healthcare worker, we can't lose military people, and I think all three are very important. I think we should need some strategy, and Prime Minister announced today that frontline workers and how they're important. That same vision should be implemented. But certainly, the country needs some strategy how to handle the pandemic in the future. We can't be ad hocly working like this. So we need some strategic planning, thinking, and how to mitigate in the future, and what are the likelihood come, and if there are likelihoods, what are the steps that we should take it now itself, prepare, whether it comes or not doesn't matter, but then what are the strategies to put in place. And I think we need a bigger strategic thinking. The reason is now the vaccine field is going to control the global economy, and many countries are going locking up some of the healthcare systems in other country, and that clearly shows they want to control the security of that country itself. So we need to bigger thinking, strategic thinking at a bigger level, beyond the science of vaccine. We need to think how this vaccine science gets into the global commerce, and I think that strategies are going to be very crucial in the future.
You have a family which does walks vaccine, sleeps vaccine, thinks vaccine, your wife, your children. Have you had any sleep in the last 3 months or 4 months when this pandemic happened, or you were always thinking of finding the best vaccine for India?
I think, see, it all comes from the parents also. I mean, when they see our passion, children also become passionate. So you can't tell them to be passionate. If I tell them to be passionate, get lost, Dad. No, but what is important is they have to see our passion. When they see our passion, even if they get 10%, 15%, slowly it will rise. And that's only our job can be. After that, it is their responsibility how to imbibe that characters and then move on in the future.
So sometime next year, can I have the Covaxin as a shot for Pallava Bagla?
Yes, absolutely. You can be confident about that. Definitely, you'll have a vaccine from us. That's for sure.
Uh, you gave us the rotavirus vaccine. You have given us so many other vaccines, the typhoid vaccine. 1.3 billion Indians, trust me, they have been able to probably sleep easy the last night and the coming nights on hearing that Bharat Biotech is coming up with a candidate vaccine against the novel coronavirus or the COVID-19 pandemic. Always a pleasure speaking to you, Dr. Krishna Ella, and, and I wish I can get my vaccine shot sometime as soon as possible, probably early next year. I would be very happy to take that. Take care of yourself. Thank you
Thanks,
very
sir.
much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.